Why We Sleep is Bill Gates' 2019 book of choice. Why does the former richest man in the world also value sleep? Why does the former richest man in the world also emphasize on sleep? On the contrary, not sleeping well or getting enough sleep is consuming your time and our health. Why we sleep. Matthew Walker is a professor of neuroscience and psychology at the University of California, Berkeley, where he founded the Center for Human Sleep Science. This book is the culmination of decades of research in sleep science, a compilation of 17,000 scientific papers, an exhaustive description of all aspects of sleep, and many practical, myth-busting sleep suggestions. After reading the book, I marveled at the miraculous effects of sleep and cleared up 11 myths I had about sleep, so I started practicing the 12 healthy sleep rules recommended by the author. This book explains the mechanism of sleep and how caffeine, jet lag, and melatonin affect sleep, as well as the effects of sleep on our physical health and work efficiency, and why we dream. It also explains the effects of sleep on our physical health and work efficiency, why we dream, what benefits dreaming can bring us, and whether a drink before bedtime can help us sleep, whether taking sleeping pills can achieve real sleep, and finally provides 12 rules for healthy sleep for readers to improve sleep quality. At the beginning of the book, there is this paragraph. Scientists have discovered a revolutionary secret formula that will allow you to live longer. It improves your memory and increases your charisma. It keeps you slim and reduces your appetite. Protects you from cancer and Alzheimer's. Keeps you from catching colds and flu. Reduce your risk of heart disease, myocardial infarction, and diabetes. You will feel happier, less depressed, and less stressed. Are you interested? Professor Walker says that the cure for all ills is sleep. This book illustrates that the problems associated with poor sleep at night go beyond daytime fatigue to include terrible mental retardation, physical illness, psychological disorders, character defects, and even life-threatening consequences. And these conclusions are not made up, but are the result of more than 20 years of scientific experimentation in countless cases. One of the most important aspects of sleep are NREM, non-rapid eye movements, deep sleep without blinking, the main function of which is to improve physical fitness and immunity, and REM, rapid eye movement sleep, rapid eye movement dreaming sleep, the main function of which is to improve brain function, which determine the quality of sleep. Sleep quality. 2. If you sleep less than 5 hours a night, your body's natural killer cells, which are specialized in fighting cancer cells, will decrease by 70%. So people who don't get enough sleep are more likely to develop colon, prostate, or breast cancer. Perhaps the increase in the rate of cancer in the modern world is not just due to the fact that we are living longer. 3. Sleep deprivation accelerates the growth of cancer cells. In mice with the same tumors, the tumors grew many times faster in sleep-deprived mice. The World Health Organization has also identified sleep deprivation as a cancer-causing factor. 4. Sleep is more important than diet and exercise. If a person is deprived of sleep, food, or exercise for 24 hours, sleep is the most damaging. 5. People over 45 who sleep less than 6 hours a night are 200% more likely to have a myocardial infarction or stroke than those who sleep 7 to 8 hours. 6. Sleep deprivation makes you stupid, because insufficient REM affects brain cell health, and prone to Alzheimer's disease. Mrs. Chazelle and President Reagan both claimed they only slept 4 to 5 hours a day, and both ended up with Alzheimer's disease. 7. If a person does not sleep for 19 consecutive hours, his mental and physical state will be the same as if he were drunk. Therefore, the police in many countries use the method to force a confession without any trace, not to let the prisoner sleep. If a prisoner does not sleep for more than 40 hours, basically he will sign whatever he is told to sign, and he does not want to be free, but only wants to sleep. 8. Drinking coffee is the equivalent of taking a drug that makes you sleep deprived. If you are addicted to coffee and must drink it, try to drink it before 1 p.m. Alcohol does not help you sleep. 9. Alcohol does not help you sleep, it affects it. Alcohol, even a little bit, kills REM sleep and keeps us from dreaming. Not dreaming, no REM sleep, can seriously affect IQ. 10 Part of the reason we don't sleep well at night is that the constant temperature environment provided by air conditioning goes against the natural laws of sleep. 11 Alarm clocks affect heart health. In particular, the snooze function alarm clock that beeps every 5 minutes puts the heart under 3 to 4 times of pressure in a short period of time, which has a significant impact on the cardiovascular system in the long term, especially for those with a history of cardiovascular disease, as we have found that all of them have sleep problems. 12 Sleep deprivation affects sexual function. Men who sleep less than 5 hours a night have significantly smaller testicles than those who sleep more than 8 hours, and the concentration of testosterone in the blood drops to the level of 10 years later. For women, lack of sleep is likely to cause endocrine problems and infertility or miscarriage. 13 Sleep deprivation is easy to gain weight. This is because sleep deprivation lowers leptin, a hormone related to satiety, and increases ghrelin, a hormone related to hunger. Leptin is a protein secreted by fat cells in the body, molecular weight of about 16 kd, which affects the center of the brain to inhibit food intake and promote heat production. Leptin was discovered in late 1994 by researchers at the Rockefeller University in the United States after 8 years of experiments to find the obesity (OB) gene in a genetically obese OB/OB mouse. Ghrelin is a hormone found in the bloodstream and secreted by endocrine cells in the gastrointestinal (GI) tract, with the stomach producing the most. Ghrelin is called hunger hormone because it increases food intake. 14 If you don't get enough sleep during the workday, you won't be able to make up for it by getting more sleep on the weekends. 15 Almost every major disease that kills is related to lack of sleep. Many health problems can be improved or solved if the patient is allowed to get a good night's sleep. A good explanation of the importance of sleep is that sleep is an important health issue that is often overlooked by busy modern people, and it is common to suffer from insomnia or to sacrifice sleep to accomplish more. Lack of adequate sleep has wide-ranging and systemic effects on the human body, including our physical and mental health, memory, learning, creativity, productivity, leadership, decision-making, IQ and EQ, attractiveness, athletic performance, and even appetite. The benefits of getting enough sleep are endless, making you healthier, happier, smarter, slimmer, preventing disease, improving learning, memory, productivity and quality of life. Sleep mechanism. The two main factors that determine when you want to sleep and when you are awake are your daily rhythm and sleep pressure. Perihelion simply means that our body naturally generates a 24-hour rhythm, and this 24-hour cycle helps us to decide when we want to go to sleep and when we want to wake up in our daily life. Sleep pressure is a chemical called adenosine in our brain. As long as we don't sleep, the concentration of adenosine will rise, and when the concentration of adenosine accumulates to a certain amount, we will want to go to sleep, which is called sleep pressure. Why do human beings need to sleep? Sleep consists of two forms of sleep, non-REM sleep and REM sleep, which are repeated in 90-minute cycles. The book provides a theory as to why there are two forms of sleep, and that is to solve the problem of limited memory storage space. Because of the limited memory storage space in our brain, we first perform the action of ending our memory in non-REM sleep, and then strengthen the memory connection in REM sleep. This cycle is repeated several times throughout the night. All species sleep, and sleep has evolved along with life on Earth. And, while we sleep, the brain is still busy. But what exactly does the brain do during sleep? Scientists categorize sleep into two types: non-REM sleep and REM sleep based on the movements of the human eye. Non-REM sleep, which accounts for 80% of sleep, is the non-REM sleep at the beginning of sleep, and its key function is to eliminate and clear unwanted neural connections. REM sleep, which accounts for 20% of sleep, plays a key role in the latter stages of sleep and includes dreaming, which has the function of strengthening neural connections. When people are awake, they are receiving information, experiencing and learning from the outside world. Non-REM sleep is reflective, processing new facts and skills, weeding out noise and consolidating memories. REM sleep is integrating, making connections to new information and integrating it with past experiences, where much of the insight and creativity comes from. Imagine making a statue out of clay. Initially, you put the raw materials into the base, then you spend a long time removing excess material, non-REM sleep, briefly working on the details, and then you continue to cull. In the final stage, the main effort is to strengthen the detail structure and chisel out the silhouette, REM sleep. The two work together in an orderly fashion, renewing and shaping each day's life experience, and you can't have one without the other. The effects of caffeine, jet lag, and melatonin. We all have a routine where we get up at sunrise and go to bed at sunset. As our standard of living improves, we have more opportunities to travel abroad, and with that comes the problem of jet lag. The good news is that the local sunshine allows us to slowly adjust to jet lag, but the crews of frequent long-haul flights can't adjust to jet lag this way, so they take melatonin pills, which artificially increase the concentration of melatonin in the bloodstream to make the brain believe that it's nighttime, and thus increase sleepiness under jet lag conditions. This makes the brain believe that it is nighttime, which in turn increases the likelihood of falling asleep in the face of jet lag. Adenosine is a major factor in determining wakefulness and sleep. Adenosine is a chemical that is being produced every second of every day. When receptors in the brain bind to adenosine, the concentration of adenosine rises, and we gradually feel sleepy because adenosine reduces neural activity, which can be imagined as a kind of pressure gauge. Once we enter the sleep state, the metabolic rate slows down and gradually decreases. When adenosine decreases to a certain level, the inhibitory effect of the nervous system decreases, and the person gradually wakes up, and adenosine accumulates to the point of wanting to go to sleep in about 12 to 16 hours after the person wakes up. Another chemical substance that keeps us awake is caffeine. Caffeine has a similar chemical structure to adenosine and binds to the receptor that accepts adenosine. When we drink beverages or foods that contain caffeine, the caffeine binds to the receptor, causing the sleep signal from adenosine to decrease, thus keeping us awake more, which is one of the reasons why some people who drink coffee or tea are not able to sleep. Caffeine can be removed by enzymes in the liver, but also because of age, reducing the removal time, that is to say, the older the caffeine effect on sleep is also greater. Incidentally, caffeine through the liver metabolism of byproducts of theobromine, will make blood vessels to promote the expansion of urination, but also why the coffee is a diuretic reason. Why do you dream? REM sleep is also known as paradoxical sleep, because in this kind of sleep the mind seems to be awake, but the body is obviously asleep, which is why we have dreams. Dreaming has two functions. The first is related to our emotional and mental health, and the second is related to our problem-solving ability and creativity. In terms of emotional and mental health, norepinephrine plays an important role. Norepinephrine is a stress-related chemical that stops being released 24 hours a day only during REM sleep. Dreaming during REM sleep accomplishes two key goals. The first is to integrate the details of obvious and important experiences with existing knowledge, and the second is to remove the emotional load of pain that has previously been wrapped up in memories deep within the mind. This is why REM sleep can benefit us in terms of our emotional and mental health. In terms of problem-solving ability and creativity, during waking hours our brain will think logically to solve problems, but during REM sleep our brain doesn't care whether there is logic or not. Any wild ideas can be accepted, so we can think of some ways to solve problems and some creative ideas that we normally can't think of during REM sleep. Dreams can help us get through painful moments. We all have the experience of dreaming, and this dreaming time, which occurs during REM sleep, provides some kind of nocturnal therapeutic effect. During this period, the important structures in the brain related to emotions and memories will be reactivated, such as the amygdala and hippocampus, etc. In the dreaming time, our brain will deal with some horrible memories accompanied by emotions, and also in the process of dreaming, to remove half of the emotional load, and dream about the painful memories. People who dream about painful memories are more able to heal themselves through dreams. The more specific the dream, the more it can achieve clinical relief and reduce the impact of past trauma. How sleep deprivation affects us. The following are the effects of sleep deprivation on our physical and mental health. 1. Decreased concentration of the brain. 2. Emotional and irrational behavior. 3. Poor memory. 4. Increased risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. 5. Increased risk of cardiovascular disease. 6. Increased likelihood of weight gain and development of diabetes. 7. Adverse effects on our genital system, and 8. Weakening of the immune system and the development of cancer. 9. Genes and DNA are also affected. Drinking to help you sleep. Many people believe that drinking alcohol before going to bed can help them sleep better, but this is actually wrong. First of all, drinking before bed causes fragmentation of our sleep, causing us to wake up several times during the night. Secondly, alcohol is one of the most beneficial substances for inhibiting REM sleep, and it robs us of the dreaming stage of sleep so that we can't enjoy the benefits of dreaming. Taken together, drinking before bed is not helpful to our sleep. Do sleeping pills work? Sleeping pills do not provide natural sleep, are detrimental to health, and make people more susceptible to life-threatening illnesses. Sleeping pills work by knocking out the higher cortical areas of your brain, which in turn has a calming effect. Therefore, sleeping pills do not provide natural sleep, so you will not be able to enjoy the benefits of natural sleep. The effects of taking sleeping pills are not just about not being able to provide natural sleep, but about the effects of not being able to have natural sleep, such as the immune system being strengthened by natural sleep, and the elderly not being able to have such a strengthened immune system being more susceptible to infections. In addition, the lack of restorative sleep from sleeping pills can lead to feeling groggy the next day, which can increase the risk of fatal car accidents if you are driving at that time. 11 Common myths about sleep. 1. Are there really early birds and night owls? There are different types of human beings. Morning people like to get up early at dawn and make up 40% of the population. Nocturnal people, who prefer to sleep late and do not do well in the morning, make up 30% of the population. The remaining 30% of the population is in between, with a slight bias in favor of the night type. In modern society, this applies more to morning people, but it's unfair to night owls. Why does evolution make everyone work at different times? Because human beings are based on family and tribe, and the different schedules are to improve the defense of the group. For example, night owls go to sleep at 1-2 am, and morning people wake up at 5-6 am. The entire group is completely defenseless for 4 hours, instead of the 8 hours that we all work together. This simple mechanism increases the survival potential of the group by 50%. How to prevent or defend against external aggression, and therefore in the early tribes, the diversity of each person's work and rest, and therefore left, but also so that human beings, tribes, have been able to survive the evolutionary process. 2. Does it help to sleep on vacation or weekdays? For people who have been deprived of sleep for a long period of time, sleep supplements can help the body to obtain short-term sleep compensation. However, sleep supplements cannot make up for all the losses. For example, non-REM sleep is supposed to consolidate memory functions, but after the loss of sleep on that day, the memory will be lost forever, and no matter how much you try to make up for it, you will not be able to get it back. REM sleep is used to consolidate new information and memories, but if it is not processed immediately on the day, it will not be able to make up for the loss in the future. 3. Do people really need naps? Studies have shown that humans are naturally suited to 2-stage sleep. Napping is not culturally rooted, but biologically rooted. There is ample evidence in anthropology, biology, and genetics for a 2-stage sleep pattern. The so-called post-lunch blås, where wakefulness decreases in the afternoon and you tend to doze off easily, are something we can all relate to. Studies have shown that the elimination of naps in modern society has had a negative impact on health and productivity. In fact, human beings are born with a two-stage sleep, and we probably all have the experience of being awake in the afternoon and wanting to go to sleep, and feeling drowsy in the afternoon. However, because of the influence of modern society, we have been detached from the two-stage sleep that we are supposed to have, and there are evidences in anthropology, biology, and genetics that the real two-stage sleep is a long continuous night's sleep, plus a shorter nap. Studies have shown that people who change their nap routine have a 37% higher risk of death from heart disease and over 60% higher risk of labor compared to those who maintain a nap, so perhaps a natural two-part sleep is a way to live longer. The nap time should not be too long will have sleep tiredness, or even insomnia at night. It is not good. 4. Can pregnant and breastfeeding mothers drink a little alcohol? No. Alcohol is one of the most powerful stimulants in the brain. Alcohol is the strongest REM sleep depressant, and the alcohol consumed by a pregnant mother will cross the placenta barrier and affect the developing baby. Depriving the baby of the most integrative and creative REM sleep can impede and distort the baby's brain development. Drinking alcohol while breastfeeding can also affect your baby's sleep. 5. Can't teens go to bed earlier and wake up earlier? Teenagers don't go to bed late and wake up late because they are lazy. The goal of human development during adolescence is to learn to be independent and to find one's own way in peer groups and complex relationships. The natural evolution of the teenager's sleep rhythm has been delayed and deliberately staggered from that of their parents. Parents want to go to bed at 10 p.m., but teens are still wide awake. Forcing teens to go to bed early, such as by 10 o'clock, is like telling parents to go to bed at 8 p.m., which makes it difficult for them to sleep at all. Moreover, forcing teenagers to wake up early is tantamount to depriving them of the essence of REM sleep in the latter part of their sleep. Parents and society don't think much about the deprivation of sleep, but they often fail to notice the benefits that sleep can bring. 6. Do older people need less sleep? It is wrong to say that older people only need less sleep. As we age, sleep changes in 3 ways. 1. Quality and quantity decrease. 2. Efficiency decreases. And 3. Timing is disrupted. First, many of the health problems associated with aging are strongly related to sleep quality. Just because you sleep less doesn't mean you don't need to sleep, but rather that you need to find ways to improve your sleep. Secondly, the bladder deteriorates with age. Reduce water intake before bedtime to avoid disturbing your sleep by going to the bathroom at night. Finally, if you want to maintain the same routine as the middle-aged, older people should avoid too much sunlight in the morning, but instead should be more sunlight after 3 p.m., to delay the sleepiness of the night, which will help to adjust to the same routine as the family. 7. Which is more dangerous, driving while tired or driving under the influence of alcohol? Fatigue driving is just as dangerous, but perhaps even more so. There are 2 main causes of accidents caused by fatigued driving. 1. The driver is asleep, and 2. Microsleep, which is a short period of loss of concentration. It is rare for a driver to be completely asleep, but people who suffer from chronic sleep deprivation are prone to microsleeps. A driver who loses concentration for a few seconds may not even apply the brakes, which can be enough to cause a fatal crash. If you feel drowsy while driving, it's important to take a 20-minute nap on the side of the road or at a rest stop, and then wait another 20 minutes after waking up to get out of your sleep habit before getting back on the road. 8. Does the amount of sleep affect my health? Sleep is the most important of the 3 pillars of health: sleep, diet, and exercise, and the slightest change in sleep quality will result in a lack of effectiveness in controlling diet and exercise. The authors point out that more than 20 large-scale epidemiological studies, tracking millions of people over several decades, showing the correlation between sleep and disease, heart disease, obesity, dementia, diabetes, cancer, and lack of sleep have a strong causal relationship. 9. I only need 6 hours of sleep, right? The author criticizes corporations and the media for touting that people need less sleep, such as 6 to 7 hours, which, according to his research, is dead wrong. The author uses solid research information to prove that the optimal amount of sleep for humans is 8 hours. Anyone who says they need less than 7 or 6 hours of sleep is unknowingly taking their life away from their optimal physical and mental state, and failing to maximize their physical and mental potential. 10. Is it a trend to send children to school earlier? According to research, the more children sleep, the more intelligent they are, with children with higher IQs sleeping 40 to 50 minutes longer than those with lower IQs. There is more research evidence to support the idea that delaying a child's school day, for example from 7:30 to 8:30, has a significant effect on grades and academic performance. A tired, sleep-deprived brain is like a memory filter full of holes, unable to receive, absorb, and retain learning. 11. Can sleeping pills solve sleep problems? The conclusion is that sleeping pills do not provide natural sleep. They work as tranquilizers, which work by knocking out the higher cortical areas of the brain. This means that although you may appear to be asleep, both non-REM sleep and REM sleep are disturbed, which in the long run will continue to affect memory and the ability to learn and create. Taking sleeping pills can also have adverse effects on health, car accidents, and longevity. The author suggests cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, which is a behavioral approach to natural sleep, and some of the techniques are organized in the following 12 sleep rules. The 12 rules of healthy sleep. 1. Adherence to regular sleeping hours. It is difficult to change the sleep routine once it is established. If you want to change your current sleep habits, you can watch the video introduction of Atomic Habits, a book with 4 steps to change your habits. If you can only follow one of the 12 rules, that's it. 2. Exercise has many benefits, but not too late. Try to exercise for 30 minutes a day, but finish 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This is because exercise raises your body temperature dramatically, which is not conducive to sleep because people cool down when they go to sleep. 3. Stay away from caffeine and nicotine. Caffeine is a kind of stimulant. In coffee, cola, some tea, chocolate, the effect takes 8 hours to fade, in the afternoon after 3 o'clock to avoid intake. Nicotine is also a stimulant and can cause smokers to have a very light night's sleep. 4. Avoid drinking alcohol before bed. Alcohol is a depressant that interferes with your REM sleep, making it shallow and of poor quality, and most damagingly, preventing learning during sleep. When the effect of alcohol wears off, it is easy to wake up in the middle of the night. 5. Avoid eating too late and drinking too much. Too much undigested food in the stomach and intestines can interfere with sleep quality. Drinking too many beverages will cause you to go to the bathroom too often during the night, which is also harmful to your sleep quality. 6. Try not to take medication that delays or interferes with sleep. Some heart, blood pressure, asthma, cough, cold, and allergy medications may interfere with sleep. Check with your doctor to see if these medications interfere with your sleep, and if possible, take them during the day or earlier in the evening. 7. Don't nap after 3 p.m. Although napping can supplement sleep, napping too late in the day can make it difficult to fall asleep at night. 8. Go into relaxation mode before bedtime. Don't schedule things too full before bedtime. You can take the way of reading and listening to music, as a habit before bedtime. 9. Take a hot bath before bedtime. A hot bath has a similar effect, although the surface temperature will temporarily increase, but it helps to expand the surface blood vessels, so that the body continues to cool down, and physical and mental relaxation, easier to fall asleep, sleep quality will be better. 10. Keep your bedroom dark, cool and free of electronics. Try to avoid too bright night lights and a bedroom that is too hot. For insomniacs, it's especially important to keep alarm clocks and clocks out of sight, as staring at the clock will make it harder to fall asleep. 11. Sunlight. Sunlight is the key to regulating sleep patterns. Try to get 30 minutes of sunlight in the morning every day, and use a brighter light source at dawn or in the morning, but dim the indoor lights before going to sleep. 12. Don't stay awake in bed. If you are still awake 20 minutes after going to bed and begin to feel worried and anxious, it is best to get up and do some light activities until sleep comes. The anxiety of not being able to fall asleep will lead to a vicious cycle where it is even harder to sleep. Consequences of sleep deprivation. Adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and children need 9 to 13 hours. Sleep deprivation can lead to daytime depression, fatigue, irritability, inability to concentrate, and loss of memory and learning ability. In the long run, this can lead to chronic illnesses such as immune system imbalances, high blood pressure, heart disease, weight gain, mood disorders, anxiety, and cognitive impairment, reduced ability to remember, understand, learn, and make judgments. More serious conditions may increase the chance of accidents, and the authors believe that fatigue driving should be legislated against just as strictly as drink driving, because in fact, insomnia causes more traffic accidents than alcohol and drug use combined. Definition of insomnia. Insomnia is usually defined as falling asleep for more than 30 minutes, waking up during the night for more than 30 minutes in total, and having less than 6.5 hours of total sleep. Acute insomnia lasts from one night to several weeks. Chronic insomnia occurs when it occurs at least 3 nights per week for 3 months or more. Insomnia may also come and go, recurring over and over again. Diagnosis and treatment of insomnia. Diagnosis and treatment of insomnia must be made at a psychiatric facility, evaluated and diagnosed by a specialist, and performed under the supervision of a board-certified physician or therapist. The most common treatments are non-pharmacological cognitive behavioral therapies and the use of sleeping pills. The fastest way to get results is to use sleeping pills, but drugs still have side effects, dependence, and tolerance problems. It is common for patients to take more and more medication during the day when they should be awake, and when they want to reduce the medication, they have psychological dependence or withdrawal, so they are trapped in the cycle of reducing and increasing the medication, and sleep becomes a source of anxiety every night, which leads to stress and further sleeplessness. In fact, there are many scientifically proven ways to improve sleep quality that can be easily implemented at home, such as practicing mindfulness meditation, changing daily habits or the environment, and so on. The 3 basic principles of a good night's sleep. If you want to learn how to sleep better, you can follow the principles of sleep in this book to learn how to get a good night's sleep. Principle 1. Go to sleep at a regular time, wake up at a regular time. If you can only follow one principle of sleep, it is go to sleep at a regular time and wake up at a regular time. Because the human body is very mysterious, as long as you follow a certain routine, your body will naturally enter a certain state at a certain time. For example, when you develop a sleep routine of go to sleep at 11 p.m. and get up at 7 am, your body will naturally remember that 11 p.m. is the time to go to sleep, and you will be flooded with a strong urge to sleep, which will make you fall asleep faster. Principle 2. Take a hot bath before going to bed. Attention, must be hot water bath, because the hot water can make the blood flow to the body surface, so that the skin red. In this case, the heat inside the body will be dispersed to the outside world, lowering the temperature inside the body and making it easier to fall asleep. Thinking back to your insomnia nights, do you sometimes have trouble sleeping because of the hot and dry feeling? A hot bath before bedtime is the solution to this problem. Principle 3. Don't touch electronic devices 1 hour before bedtime. Try to stay away from electronics for as long as possible before bedtime because blue light activates our brain, causing it to think it's daytime and stop releasing the chemicals that make us sleepy, making it difficult to fall asleep. If you can't completely stop using electronics before bedtime, turn on your blue light blocker to expose your brain to less blue light. When you don't get enough sleep, all aspects of your health decline, and there's no escaping it. Like a water pipe bursting in your home and causing water to leak everywhere, the effects of sleep deprivation penetrate into every nook and cranny of your physiology, sneaking into your cells and changing even the most basic unit that makes you who you are, your DNA. Conclusion: a good night's sleep is a human physiological necessity. How important is sleep to human beings? According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is as important as the basic needs of food, reproduction, air, and water. Paradoxically, most people value their other needs so much that they disregard sleep, or even sacrifice it to fulfill other needs. For example, they work all night to make money, they go to nightclubs to make friends with the opposite sex, they drink alcohol, and they stay up all night to fulfill all their needs. However, sleep is the most basic need that should not be neglected by people, because the lack of sleep can easily cause people to spend every day and even this life in a muddled manner. If a person wants to live a colorful life, energizing the body is the best way to experience life. How long has it been since you've had a good night's sleep? I hope you can train yourself to get a good night's sleep today, and you'll wake up fresh the next day. Sleep has such a wide range of effects on us, from physical health to mental and emotional well-being. Sleep plays an important role. The book Why Sleep allows us to re-evaluate and revalue the importance of sleep to us. All biological evolution and physiological cycles have their own mechanism of operation. We should understand the correlation between them and utilize them appropriately, so that our lives will be more satisfying, healthy and balanced.